Oh, what's going on, guys? JD at JD's Custom Buggies. We haven't had many videos on the number 7. We probably skipped a couple of steps, but we're gonna do a quick walk around because she's about done, and the owners are actually on their way to pick her up now. Probably spent the last 4 nights here. Earliest I've left the shop is 1 o'clock, and I've actually, as of last night, I still haven't been to bed yet. I left the shop about 12:30, had to pick up a customer's buggy. They were going to leave it out for me so I could grab it and bring it in the morning with me, which I did. And by the time I got home and got out of the shower, it was 2 a.m. My wife's alarm was going off because she had to work this morning. So instead of going to bed, I actually had coffee because I just got too much to do. Had coffee with her, and basically came to the shop and caught about an hour. So I'm running on about an hour's sleep in the last 24 plus hours. But anyway, she's done. We got it wired up. Blooded brakes last night. Had a little wiring glitch. Had to figure that out and rewired it. Ended up being a bad CDI on top of probably a bad connection. So it was 2 problems. Masking itself is 1 problem. But got that all cleared out this morning. I've already taken for a couple test drives and kind of test jetting it right now. They're on their way to come get it, so I figure we do a walk around before it leaves me. Alright guys, here we go. So this is a little different for me because I've never worked on a carbide before. I've done talons, I've done hammerheads, some other crossfires obviously, but as far as the strut buggy goes, I've never worked on a carbide before. So what I definitely want to do is, because the carbide has two cues that kind of make it stick out from every other buggy, and one is the metal hood, and the other being the swooping bars, you know, the main hoop there. It's not a hard angle, it's a long swooping deal, so I want to keep that. Didn't have a choice anyway, because like I said before in a previous video, new roll cage wasn't in the budget. So you know, a couple of people have actually complimented me on the look of the cage, but it's really stock carbide. It's really not me till you get behind the bar and behind the seat. The other cue that it just wasn't available because they didn't have it was front bumper. I would have actually used the front bumper had it been here. That to me was always one of the coolest parts about the carbides. It actually looked like a real ATV bumper, like for a sport quad. So the front end, we have triangular arms, and what's different about these is I made them out of square tubing instead of round. They should be plenty strong enough. The other thing is I'm kind of dabbling into with the 150cc buggies, these smaller buggies, are the vertically mounted heim joints instead of horizontal. Horizontal is going to give you more turning radius. Vertically mounted is going to give you more up and down, horizontal or vertical movement. There's really no limit to where they'll swing except for the inside heims. So the turning radius, you lose a little bit, but this buggy has reverse, and I've had this on Lucifer, my 400cc joiner buggy, for this kind of stuff since 2013 when I built them. So it ain't bad if you have reverse. You know, it's very stable. The heim joints serve as a steering stop, so you don't have to worry about any shenanigans with the front wheels overturning or whatnot. Geometry is very correct. I mean, the inside tire is always turning harder than the right side tire. That's what we want. As far as bump steer, really, I'm pushing down on, and these wheels are just not moving. So I mean, there's really hardly any bump steer on this thing. I just stepped all over the bumper. Front end's stiff. It's at the softest setting. You know, we have blaster shocks front and rear. I suspect that they're probably going to jack it up 1 or 2 slots when we hit the track. And you know, in the parking lot and on the street, it's like, oh, this is stiff, this is stiff. You get on the track and it's like, oh, I need more preload. I need stiffer shocks. So I mean, the track is the true test right there. Got our awesome paint scheme. 3-color paint scheme here. The other hiccup I had was I was in such a rush this week because I was working on multiple buggies. Earlier this week, I had done a blaster conversion on a hammerhead, and basically the rear of this it's the same as doing a blaster conversion. And I was in such a rush, I wasn't thinking that I made new tabs and I welded them in the stock positions. So where that gave us a huge problem was the dog bone. You could literally, the way the dog bone was angled and it was kind of pointing backwards, you could literally pick the motor up. I mean, this thing has to be pretty vertical and to keep the motor from being able to swing up. So that was the whole thing. So we just made these relocation brackets, and somebody had actually mentioned to me on Facebook about doing something like this front, top and bottom for like carbides and hammerheads. It's really, and I told them the bottom's really not that hard, which is where I chose to move it. It's the top. I mean, it can be done, but the front end is the hard part because that requires fabrication. But yes, there's a possibility that we might get into making brackets for hammerheads, carbides, and trailmasters, so you can mount blaster shocks on your rears. Exhaust pipe. It's one of my exhaust pipes. Actually, I was on such short time. I had made this exhaust pipe for myself, and yeah, I don't make the prettiest exhaust pipes for myself, just for customers. So basically, I ended up cleaning this one up, painting and slapping it on. I'll worry about myself later. At this point, I don't even know if I'm going to make the first race with the Europe, so I'm not really worried about it. Got a high mounted tank. I build these as I go. There's really not a whole lot of pre-thought. It's just what looks best at the time. The reason why the tank's so high is because we had multiple issues with people breaking petcocks off of the swing arms, hitting them. Obviously, that won't be a problem with this buggy. Yeah, it probably didn't need to be that high. It's just, like I said, I was just trying to make the back end kind of cool, but there was a huge gap between the bar, that whole, where the swing arm mounts and where the tank is mounted. Tires are customer's choice. They had 8-inch wheels, so I'd found them these last year for race season. They are 2011 8 Candace, so they use them. And then of course we have our slide carb deal. The other thing that's different is that this actually has a stock oil cooler, and the oil cooler mounts on those two bosses right there behind the seats. The oil lines look sketchy to me. I don't want to put crappy oil lines on, so I wanted to change them. Well, the only ones I had in stock were these SSPG oil lines that they use for like performance scooter stuff. So I ended up putting these in. They're definitely a better quality line that came stock. But they are a lot longer. So two things. I didn't want the lines all bunched up under the motor, and I wanted it below the motor. I wanted there to be enough room for bouncy if we needed to be, and I wanted this thing to catch air. So we figured I'd just stretch the lines out straight, stay below the motor, and mount to the floorboard here. So we just made two quick brackets and bolted it right to the floor. The box here is all basically all of my electronics are in here. There's basically two different looms here that have wires. One's for the stator and one goes out to the coil. And that's it. So to remove the motor, you just unplug the stator and the coil, and you're done. You can basically yank the motor. You don't have to, in the ground, but you don't have to go through a whole bunch of stuff to get the motor out. So I mean, at the track, that's a bonus. There's a slide rod kit that we have mounted, and then all the electronics are in here. You just turn the key and boom, she'll fire it up. She likes to have a little touch of the gas pedal when we do it. I'll choke it real quick. Oh, maybe not. Alright, give me a second. Put the camera down for 1 second. You got a running motor. So everything's in that box. You just open that box and you got access to all the electronics. And then we have our steering shaft, our cool multi-dimensional steering shaft that we built under here because we had a problem with a straight shot with the foot hitting the steering shaft. So I've taken it up and down the road, incredibly stable. I pulled into the parking lot. I whipped it in the parking lot. I mean, the SN broke free before it felt, it didn't even feel tippy. I mean, it slid before it tipped, which is pretty neat. I mean, it's a very stable riding buggy. So that being said, you'll be able to see this hopefully in some of the race vids that we do, or if you go to the National Sports Broadcasting on YouTube, you'll be able to see it live streamed and then catch the replay when it gets uploaded. But this will be the number 7 in, I believe, 2 classes. I think the daughter is running in the adult class. She just got her driver's license, and then the son Brody will be driving in youth class. So this will probably be the prettiest it ends up being, because once it hits the track, it's going to get dirty, and it's going to become a warrior. So there we go. So this is pretty much going to conclude all of our Carbide videos, so at least on this project, so till the next project comes. But we're going to keep you updated. We're going to try and put out some good buggy educational video kind of stuff. And this is definitely not the last project. We'll have all kinds of projects, and so this is just the end of this one. And it's been a, by the end of the project, I'm ready to move on to the next thing anyway. So if you like this video, give us a like, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section. And if it's a question, I'll do my best to answer it best I can. And look for subscribers, because we want to give some stuff away. We're at 240 something subscribers now, I believe. And at 300 we're going to give something away. At 500 we're going to give away a full CVT system. And if you want to know what CVT system, it's the same one that is in number 7 here. So you just go back and watch those videos, and you'll see exactly what's in that machine. And you'll win something, you'll win that system, just like that. Not even something like it. It will be it. So I want to say thank you for joining me, and until the next video, until the next project. JD out.